Hello, welcome to my podcast. I'm going to talk about detaching energetically because we attach to people and situations and problems. We attach to lots of things actually, and we attach to them actually energetically. And that's why I want to do this session, because we can actually do practices to detach from them. If we want to detach from a person, it's very important that we know why we're doing it. Don't do it out of anger or because you want to pay them back or any revengeful reason. Do it for the greater good for you. Therefore, if you're finding that you're with somebody and it's very draining and they're very difficult to be with and you still have to be with them, you can do an energetic detach. What you do is you imagine the person in front of you and you say to yourself, I'm detaching energetically from you. I always cut the cord. Always cut the cord that's attaching me to them in this way, because it's not a good cord for me to have, because usually it's actually running one way. You will find that when you detach from somebody, they will often know. I know someone who detached from someone, and within an hour she got a text message saying, what's going on, where are you and what are you doing? And she just felt it straight away. The connection was broken in that way. I'm talking about unhealthy attachments. And unhealthy energetic attachments usually aren't two-way. If you're in a healthy attachment, you can be attached to the person and they can be attached to you energetically. There is also codependency, which is, I suppose, isn't as healthy. The attachment I'm talking to you about today is a negative one for you and possibly for the other person. For example, if you're really attached to somebody and they're not very attached to you energetically, you'll be the one putting out, you'll be the one investing, and you'll also be the one feeling like you're getting rejected or that they don't care about you because they're just not attached to you. And they can attach to you physically by seeing them a lot or not, emotionally, mentally, and also psychological. So there can be 4 attachments within that one attachment. The extra one is also spiritual attachment. We can have this with some people more than with others. They always say that the person who loves the most has the least power, and the person who loves the least holds the greatest power. I believe that's the same with attachment. If you're very attached to somebody, they will have a lot more power over you than if it's equal and or if it's the other way. I always know when I'm getting more attached or too attached to somebody in an unhealthy way, because they start to be in my mind too much. I start to worry about them too much, start to worry about the relationship, start to question and second guess myself. And when I get to that place, I always go and have a look and see if I'm attached. I use my pendulum to ask. You can also use kinesiology. Then I go and do the work on it. For me, it's often a emotional attachment, but you can also have mental and psychological. And then the physical attachment is when you're wanting to see them all the time and dropping in and visiting them. That's like a physical attachment. It is very empowering for the relationship for you to cut these negative attachments. So once you've done the meditation and you've done the cutting, you've cut the cord, I always send them love and healing afterwards because I love them. These are people that I care about, but I am far too attached to it to be good for them and good for me. You will actually feel a difference. As soon as you do it, it feels liberating. You will feel like they are a little bit further away energetically, not so much in your face, or you're not thinking about them at 2 o'clock in the morning when you wake up. You will be distanced from them, and that's because you've done the energetic cut. I send a lot of love to them because they will feel the cut and they will feel you're actually not there. But the reason we do this is for our own health and well-being. In very good relationship, the attachment is about equal. It will vary when someone's more busy or if they're going through a bit of a tough time, but it's mostly equal. They're attached to you as much you're attached to them, and the relationship will run very well because it's an equal sharing, it's an equal investment. One isn't suffocating the other and one isn't neglecting the other, because they're the two feelings that you will have. It'll either be feeling suffocated by the person or feeling neglected, and they will tell you how much the attachment is. I also think that if people don't want to be so attached to us, we should not try and control the situation, and we should allow them to have a bit more distance. Many times when you do this, you'll know that it's worked because they come straight in. I've done it, and within a few hours or within a day, that person's connected with me or sent me a message or rung me up. They can feel it. Do not then go back and reattach in the old way. It's more important that you keep the balance. So they're attached 3 out of 10 to you. You stay at 3 out of 10. If it's 1 out of 10, maybe you have to stay at 1 out of 10. I don't know. The next part I want to speak about is being attached to situations. We will always be having situations in our life, from work, from family, problems, other situations that we need to deal with. And if we get too attached to the situation, we can almost, sort of by being that attached, we have too much energy in it, we can actually stifle and stop it. If you are trying too hard to get something running, you can actually stop it by putting just too much energy into it, and it gets sort of stymied. Be aware of that. So when you're doing the detachment with this part, you're going to energetically now attach from the situation. If you're having trouble with someone at work, what you do is you'll see that you're getting too attached to that problem at work, cut the cord with the problem at work and detach from it. It's a very, very powerful thing to do, and it will work. And every time you go back and start thinking about it again, cut the cord and detach. Because sometimes it's a very, very strong drawing back. After a while, you will find that you're not thinking about it, you're not worrying about it, you're not agonizing about it, you're not getting so angry about it. And that's the other thing, that anger will often come in when we have an attachment that isn't given back to us. So if we're caring more about it than they are, we will get resentful, a bit angry about that, because of course we're doing more work than they are doing. You can also get used very much with attachments. If you are very attached to a person or a situation, others can manipulate you and use you to do a lot of the work or make most of the effort. And so being more equally attached will stop the usage. It's lovely to do things for other people. It's great to give and give them love and be there for them and support them. However, if the relationship doesn't work that way back to you, you're going to start to really feel it. And after a while, you'll get a little bit tired of it, and you won't know why, because you'll think, oh, I shouldn't be like that. They've got their life. But you continue to feel that way. And that's why I've done this podcast. It's because you're energetically attached. And once you cut that attachment, it balances it all out. I found this a really great learning for me, because I came from a background, so I have attachment issues because of my earlier life. Therefore, I would always attach quite quickly, and it would be quite a big, loving, strong attachment. And I couldn't understand why it wasn't coming back the other way. Once I realised that, I did a lot of work on it and cut a lot of attachments with a lot of people. Also, if you are having trouble with someone in your life, they're very problematic, causing a lot of abuse or difficulty in your life. By cutting the attachment, you will suffer less, because you won't be so attached to them. Figure out which one it is. Is it physical, emotional, mental, or psychological attachment? Or is it a spiritual attachment? And cut those cords. I've actually done them differently for different people. You will probably find you have a predominance of having one or the other. However, it's doable, this. For example, if you are physically attached to them and at their house all the time, ringing them up all the time, sending them 10 texts a day, you need to stop that. So cut the physical attachment. Unless, of course, they're sending 10 things back and it's very happy for both of you. It's finding what works for both of you. I found that my life changed quite dramatically once I did the cutting. People felt it, and they either came a little bit more toward me or not, but it was more balanced. And I actually didn't have so much emotion around when they were neglectful or I felt somewhat abandoned by them. This week, off you go. Have a look, and then some emotional detachment, and see how that goes for you. Sending love and light.